Hi, and welcome to Dipping and Out with Lucy, the podcast that opens up the discussion around domestic abuse. I'm very fortunate this lunchtime, actually, on a Monday now, to be talking to Luke. Luke and I connected through LinkedIn, and Luke is an advocate around domestic abuse, but he's a lot more than that. And I think it would be only just and right for me to pass over to Luke to explain a bit more about what he does and why he does it. So, good
Um,
afternoon, Luke.
Good afternoon, Lucy. My name's Luke. I can't divulge where I live because it it will divulge in the podcast. I don't like victim, gives me the ick. I'm a survivor of domestic abuse as a child. My main aim is to win the Pride of Britain award. That's the aim, and I want to speak to police officers, government officials, because you can only read so much in a book, but to hear it from the person's mouth, I think it's more impact.
Yeah.
That's the level I want to get to. But it's early days yet. I've only been going like 8 weeks. So what I've achieved in 8 weeks is phenomenal.
Incredible. Incredible. It is because when I first spoke to you, you'd think you'd been doing this for years. You know, you're really getting yourself out there, you're really making the connections and talking to people who need to hear your story. And obviously I won't go into detail, but I know you've shared your story with me. And I think very much so the lived experience aspect for people. I think that's when it really kind of can hit home in terms of resonating
Yeah,
with people, and you wanting to kind of get that out there, and it just it's amazing.
yeah, 100%. It's like my police force of I'm not exactly forthcoming about accepting help. I've had more help from outside people like yourself to get my message across, which I think was mad, but is what it is.
Yeah, and I think, that's the important thing, isn't it? Is like you say, I think one of the biggest reasons it's important to do things like this and have things like the podcast and people speaking out is because there's so many people who don't know that there's support and don't think that they're worthy of support or understanding. And, when they hear your story or they hear people like yourselves talking about experiences, then they may feel that little bit less alone, and that's why it is so important. And you're right, it's getting to people who will say, look, we've never met before before a few weeks
Yes.
ago, but
I th-
actually, yeah.
oh, it's like because the law, when it happened to me as a child, if the law happened back then, my birth father would still be in prison, or but this is just my personal opinion. Before the law came in is it 2021?
Yeah, yeah,
Firstly, they should have put all the systems in place first before pressing a button, because I feel like they're playing catch up now. That's just my opinion. But
well, your
what does
opinion counts.
Keir Starmer think? But that's a story for another day.
Well, yeah, fair enough. The thing is, I think when you are passionate about what you're talking about, then you're not going to back down. You are going to make sure that you're banging on the right doors, and that's exactly what you're doing. And so, what have you been doing recently in terms of? Because I know you've been doing having a lot of meetings and connecting with a lot of people and doing talks.
Yeah. I've spoke to. I was going to say this local football club, but I can't.
Yeah,
I said football club. I spoke to their community foundation about doing something. Local train network. Sorry, I shouldn't say this. Hertfordshire Police, but I'm not. I live nowhere near there. Uh, loads of people. I don't want to. Yeah,
yeah,
watch
yeah.
this space.
Yeah, wow, that's amazing. That is amazing. And like you say, you've only really, so what was it that, I mean, I know it sounds like a stupid question, but what was it at this point in your life that made you decide that this is what you needed to do?
I worked. I volunteered for a charity called Finish, which is phenomenal. It's like I was literally on suicide watch. They took me from there to here. With my whole heart, thank them so much. So I'm not going to say them off, but
Yeah.
I feel like I've outgrown the volunteer role. I want to make use to my lived experience and hint, hint, a job. I'm looking for a job
Yeah.
in this field. So I want to do my public speaking and plus supporting people in one. That's the plan. But you know what? Parents are like, they're like, let's go down the pub, meet someone, and get a job. And the next day, it doesn't work like that anymore.
No, no, it doesn't. And especially when there's so much that's going around your head, and it's not just, a lot of the time people think with abuse, it's the physical, and that's why I always use the term domestic abuse rather than domestic violence, because yes, violence is an aspect, very much so, but it's the psychological scars that are left, isn't it? And that mental
Yeah,
health, lack of
it's
well-being.
it's what was a statistic I read the other day because it links to like suicide, drugs and alcohol, everything. I read a statistic the other day that 1 in 30, is it 1 in 30 people died by suicide through domestic violence.
Yeah,
That's 1,500 people for a year. Over a government for a period, that's 6,000 people.
yeah, yeah. And
That's
that's,
it.
well, exactly. And so much of that is we don't even know those who have experienced it or have
Yeah.
been impacted, but actually haven't come forward, or we don't know about them. So
Mhm.
it's never a true reflection, is it, of what's going on? And that's so. For example, people like yourselves years ago, if you weren't speaking out for the reasons that are personal to you, but now you are, there's somebody else to add. So that's where for me it's so historical, and for a lot of people it can be years down the line, and all of a sudden they go, oh my God, I'm not sure, but I think that was abuse. Because when you're in it, it's normal, isn't it? It's
I
normal to
think
you. It's your normal life.
it's like okay, it's like if you think you're watching like EastEnders or Corrie and think, that's a load of beat.
Yeah.
But when I went through my blip, I don't call it breakdown because it's negative. It's something that just triggered in my head. It went. Uh, we'll go into it further down the line in the episode. It all went back to what I experienced with my birth father. Hopefully, it helps one person. One person's better than none.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's all. I think genuinely that's all we can ever hope for, isn't it? If we can help one person. And I think when every time I do these episodes and I speak to different people, the same thing comes back time and time and time again is they just don't want anybody else to feel as alone as they did. And the problem with domestic abuse and domestic violence is it's so isolating, and you are so alone, and trying to make sense of it all with people that maybe, especially if they're not professionals, if people don't understand them, how often do we find that friends and family will say, well, you were with them, or they were, you can't help it, it's your family and you should love your family, or you pick that partner or whatever it will be, and the blame
Yeah.
gets put back on the individual.
It's hard, but hopefully it will change. Hopefully, it open this door, it could lead to another door and lead to another door, and I'll
Yeah.
get in front of Keir Starmer one day. Hopefully.
Listen, I believe in you. Look how far you've come in a matter of weeks.
And also, the funny thing is, what people don't realise with Keir Starmer, his old job used to be criminal, was it the Crown Prosecution Service?
Yes, yes. Yeah, 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 yeah,
And he knows
exactly.
a lot of people that knows people that knows people.
That
So
knows
that's,
people. Yeah. That I'm just gonna, while we're recording, I'm gonna edit this bit out. There's a bloody fly in here, so I'm just gonna open the door for it to go out. Driving me up the wall. Sorry, we can edit that bit out, but I'm just gonna see if I can get rid of the bloody fly for a second. Um, it's driving me. It's flying around here like a bloody loon. But anyway, that's the beauty of things like this. We can just edit it out. It's not a problem. There you go. There we go. Got it. Got it. Got it. There we are. I've never had that happen before, put it that way. That's never happened before, by the way. Yes, so yeah, well, like you say, looking at things like the CPS, looking at individuals who haven't felt supported through their experience with the legal system, that comes up time and time and time again for me when I'm
so
talking to people.
it's like what we'll go further this down the episode, but um, I had professionals that failed me 100%. If I can educate one um, professional or police force, it helped.
Yeah, of course, absolutely. And, do you think from your perspective being male as well, that's that's such a massive element in terms of speaking out, because it's well known that it is more difficult for men to feel that they can speak out about not only domestic abuse but about mental health, about experiences they've had. So for a lot of people, it will be a case of looking at you and going, well, if he can do it, I can do it, like you say. Yeah.
So that's the dream. That's the dream. If it helps one person, because blokes are like down a pub or football, go around, nothing's wrong with me, nothing's wrong with
Yeah.
me. Then all of a sudden it builds up, builds up, builds up, and they go bang, it will hit brick wall, which happened with me. And
Yeah.
yeah, the company I work for, can't say because I don't want to get done for slander.
Yeah, yeah, don't worry.
Yeah, I went to my supervisor or team leader, whatever. I can't.
You want to call them,
I'm not
yeah.
gonna. I'm not gonna swear, but I went to my team leader. My mental health is suffering. He told me to effing get on with it. I went to another team manager saying I'm suffering because of this person. He said, "Oh yeah, yeah." Saw out after come back from holiday. Saw I was all right. I wasn't all right,
No.
and yeah, and my team leader at the time knew about my past. I know people were banter in the workplace, but when they overstep it, that's when it
Mm.
gets too personal for my liking.
Well, I think you're right, and it's for anybody. If this is why it's so important that organisations are educated in what it means for someone to experience abuse, to say on the surface, I'm okay, but actually underneath it all, they're really, really struggling. And,
Mm.
like you say, just because one day you're saying, I'm all right, like you say, you're clearly not, but on the surface, you're saying you're all right. So a lot of organisations go, oh, but they're fine, so I don't need to worry about it. That doesn't
Mm.
affect, our workforce. But actually, it affects everybody on some level or another, whether it's yourself, whether it's somebody you know through work, whether it's family, friends, whoever. Um, Someone is experiencing it right now, closer to home than we think.
Certainly, it's like I know they've got legal obligations or HR, but taking for a cup of tea. I'm not being
Mm,
funny.
yeah,
A cup of tea or a coffee
yeah.
can open up a lot of doors.
Yes, yes, I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. And what comes back again and again when I'm talking to people is all they want is for somebody to listen. They're not asking for them to come up with solutions because they can't. They can't come up with solutions because sometimes there isn't an immediate solution. It may be a process of something that over many, many years. But if they listen, then that's giving that person that power and control back over their own life to say, right, okay, and wanting to open up and wanting to talk. It's huge.
That's it. If it's like I'm doing a bit of work with, is it Domestic Abuse Alliance, which is the legal aspect. So yeah, if I
Yeah,
can educate employers how to not tell them, oh, you must do this, must do this, give them words of advice. If it helps one or two people, it's better than
yeah, yeah. Of course
yeah,
it is. It is absolutely. And so, what's next on the agenda for you?
loads, loads, loads.
Yes, don't worry if you can't talk about it. It's absolutely fine. I do
I
understand.
can, but I'm one of them people until it's in black and white.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I agree. I agree.
Because
I,
I've done things for people in the past. I used to prize giving for people, collecting. I'd stuff for shit from America, and they peed all over me until it's in black and white.
mm, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. And when you're sort of reaching out to organisations, how are you finding that in terms of, would you say that doing kind of the cold calling helps, or is it places like
Yes,
LinkedIn that you're getting the connections?
yes and no, but no, this it's one of my pet peeves. You know, when you get on WhatsApp or text message or LinkedIn and someone's read it, I'm like,
Yeah,
then 2 minutes later they post on social media. I'm like, if you've got time to post on social media, all it takes is 2 seconds. Go, I'm busy today, but I'll call you next
yeah,
week.
yeah,
Fair enough. But I found on LinkedIn, I send like loads of messages each week, and you see their picture saying they've
Oh yeah,
received it,
yeah,
but 2 hours later, they're posting on. I'm like,
yeah.
or say I can't help you, but
I was
speak
just
to
going to
Bob
say,
Smith,
yeah, yeah,
or I
yeah.
know someone that knows someone that knows someone. I'm
Mm.
fine with it, but when they blank you, I'm like,
And isn't that, don't you think, well, that's very true of how people approach domestic abuse in the first place, because they think it doesn't affect them, so they don't respond, or they think, oh, this is a subject I'm not very comfortable with, so I don't want to talk about it. So too often, like you say, you're reaching out to people, putting yourself out there. What they don't realize is it takes a lot for somebody to put themselves out there,
yeah,
uh, to then turn around and not even have the courtesy to say,
it's like
listen, thanks for your email or thanks for your message, but this isn't something we're interested in at the moment. You'd rather someone was honest. Yeah,
upfront and honest, or I can't help you, or
yeah,
I'm in. How can I say it? For example, I'm in Scotland next week.
yeah,
Let's make Costa for a cuppa. Fair enough.
yeah, yeah.
But when they blank you, I'm like, that's, I'm old fashioned. Just I prefer someone says it as it is instead of going around the as is.
Yeah.
That's when you sniff out, sorry for swearing, bullshit.
Yes. Yeah. 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 You do what you do. You do. Yeah. Exactly. But I think as well, what they don't appreciate is when you have experienced abuse and you have experienced things that are horrific, then you are like your. I'll say it in the nicest possible way, but your BS detector is finely tuned, isn't it? And you don't, people don't pull them all over your eyes at all.
The way I say it with companies and stuff, this might sound, this is just my opinion. Wouldn't it be better to pay my lunch and train ticket, whatever, say hypothetically it's £100 they pay for my travel, my lunch. Wouldn't it be better to spend £100 doing that than spending 10 people's worth of wages
Yeah.
because they're off through domestic violence? £100 plus 1,000.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's the problem is it's I think we're a long way off society as a whole seeing this as a problem for everybody. Because I think at the moment it's still very much an us and them problem. It's a very much, well, that doesn't affect me, so that sits over there, and it's not, and we're over here and we're all fine and dandy. But again, what I find that I say to organisations when I'm doing work with them is to say, but how do you know that you're not in an abusive relationship right now? Because it's normal to you, that's fine. But if you listen to a lot of the things that come out in terms of coercive control, in terms of manipulation, all of that, um, a lot of people would find that there are aspects of their relationship where somebody is quite controlling, not necessarily to the extent of domestic abuse, but it could be. And because they've normalized that behavior, they don't see it as being abuse, because unfortunately we still have that idea in our head of the posters of somebody sitting cowering in a corner, and that kind of image has to change as well, because like you just said, when you're at work and somebody says, are you okay, and you go, yeah, I'm all right. Those are the kind of images we need to see, because it's, well, okay, where, how, there is a problem here, but how do you address it and how do you uncover it? It's very difficult.
It's like, if say if I was working you and I'm like not bouncing off the walls, but cheery and oh, I've been here, there, and everywhere. And you ask me, I'm okay, and you go, yeah. You're like,
Yeah, yeah,
let's do your if people around, let's do your appraisal, or whatever, just to
yeah,
shut people up.
yeah, yeah,
Long, turn the paperwork work over and go, what's up?
yeah.
It's mental, but hey ho.
It is, unfortunately. Um, but yeah, so in terms of, if there's anything you can sort of take away from what we discussed today, what kind of things would you want people to, if they're listening and thinking, okay, I relate to this, it resonates with me, what would you want them to take away from this episode?
It's better to say I'm not okay than that I'm not. How can I say it? It's better to say I'm not in a good place than not saying, oh, yeah, I'm all right.
Yeah, Yeah, it is. It is. And I think, that's a massive takeaway because so many people are going about their daily lives and they are working and they're doing, everything, taking care of family, looking after older parents, and yet they're living with this, what can only be described as a living hell, day in, day out, mentally, physically, because it's exhausting. People don't see that side of domestic abuse. It's exhausting.
Also, it could affect their family. It's like,
Yeah.
how can I say it without? I've got a brother. All I can say is history has repeated itself. And guess what
Mm.
I'm going to say?
Yeah. Yeah.
They've had my birth father. You don't even deserve that in my eyes.
Yeah.
Um, I had another child, and he there's a bit of legal stuff so going on, so I can't talk about it.
Yeah.
Uh, he's 18. I can't even speak to him. I've missed out on milestones like it sounds really simple. Go and take him to the pub for his first beer, or
Mm.
take him to his first football, seen him walk. It's also my grandfather passed away about what was it 5 years ago.
Mm.
I couldn't even go to his funeral.
Wow.
I can't even have a relationship with my that
Mm.
thing
Yeah.
family. I can't. I spoke to him on Facebook and go, I really like to see you. Go to pub or go whatever. Said we'd love to, but your birth father can't kick off us. It's horrible, but
It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. And like you said, but then, the sad part of abuse is you're isolated because of the abuse. And now, to a certain extent, maybe you're physically free of the abuse, but mentally and emotionally you're not because you're still, being abused by somebody who's controlling your
it's
life
like
from
it's,
afar.
it's like what I witnessed as a child. I've written it down. It's like I saw a wood, like around the grandparents' house, you have that wooden carving chair.
Yeah.
I saw one of them smashed over mum's head. Like the old-fashioned phone wire
Yeah.
that wrapped around mum's throat. A black knife put to her throat. He he went to a Freemason's. I can't even stand them.
Yeah.
Freemason, though, he broke into the house. A leather belt whipped her. Years later, he harassed me with parcels. He sent me a parcel, I think it was school or post office. He sent that belt to me and a toolbox, like a toolbox landed on mum's stomach. And I witnessed my mum when that wooden chair, phone wire thing happened. I saw my mum run over the road and he was chasing after. He's going back.
And if you don't mind me asking, in terms of your mom, is your mom still around?
Yeah, yeah, she's
Yeah.
good. She's remarried, but I'm not going to say where she
No,
lives
no,
or
no,
her
no,
name.
no, no. And so, for you to witness that and for her to, probably not appreciate that there's a situation, maybe she did appreciate it was abusive, but also was it normal to her? Did she think of that relationship as normal with him?
Probably thought, it's normal.
Yeah.
We lived, I can't say where we lived because security
No.
reasons. Where we lived, it was like whatever miles away, and she didn't have any sport. And I think she was too scared
Mm.
because I think, how can I say it?
Yeah.
She would have put a phone call in a couple of family, and they'll be down within 4 hours.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And we moved into a safe house because he put a work van on the house.
Mm.
We moved into a safe house wherever he lived, and after we lived there for a while, um, my birth father's best mate lived over the road from the safe
Wow.
house,
Oh,
and he was a
God.
Freemason. Gets
Oh,
worse, and he was a police force officer
wow.
in in the local police force.
Oh, wow.
And it gets worse is the way it's so. Sorry for rambling on, but I have to say it
No.
quick. What he's done with harassment is he tried and planned it so it doesn't look a lot like harassment.
Yeah.
And I went to a local police force because when you send a WhatsApp message to people I went to my police station. They told me, oh, that's not harassment. That's what I had to swear, shout, scream, shout, throw things around. So, look at
For
his
them to
criminal
listen.
record. Look at his criminal record. Within 5 minutes, they had a police officer, and he still said that's not harassment. They sent a letter to him. I'm dyslexic. It was that bad. I could have written a letter. They went to his house, or the police force where he lives, went to his police and said, blah, blah, blah. Then, after that, he sent an email slagging my mum and stepdad off to his place of work. Then we had to get police involved again, and I've got a red one against my dress.
It's just there's a lot. It's a lot, isn't it? It's a lot to experience. It's a lot to deal with, and I think by the fact that you are speaking out, and in some ways, does that feel a bit like therapy for
So
you in some ways?
yeah, it's therapy, and I think police force got to be careful what they say around people as
Yeah,
well.
yeah. How they handle it, definitely that comes up time and time again when I talk to people about how the police approach situations, how they approach victims and survivors. Yeah,
My mum lives for reasons can't say.
yeah.
He was spotted round my where my mum lived, so we phoned the police again. I said we're not happy, blah blah. They came round and they let slip and go, "Is it about a recent incident?" I went, "What are you talking about?" It's like, I clocked that on the corner of my brain and I googled. How can I say all that?
Mm.
He got done for harassment
Right.
against. I'm not going to say the person's
Yeah, yeah,
sex or
yeah.
a person. All he
Somebody
got was
else.
a slap on the wrist.
Wow. It's yeah. This is this yeah. I mean, this is why I think it's so important to be able to speak out because, like you say, from your own experience the injustice in it all, in how unfair it all is. And I was only talking. I did an episode the other day with a lady called Michelle Eldin, and we were talking about the family courts, and she was saying, we were talking about the fact that you go in her experience and you think you're going to have justice will prevail, you tell the truth, everything will be okay, but actually there's so much that isn't understood, or actually more importantly they don't want to understand.
I
They
don't.
just want
They
to.
don't.
Yeah.
They don't give. Sorry. They don't give a shit.
No,
Not
no,
funny.
they don't. Do you know what I love about this
If
podcast is usually halfway through, or like we are, we've been talking for a while now. What I love is most people get to the point where they end up going, "I'm sorry, I swore," and I'm like, "Don't worry about it," because this is exactly the point. This is the conversations make you so frustrated, and 100%, I get that. Yeah.
this makes me mad, but the way I look at it is now, I can't say what, but a number of kids don't even speak to him,
Mm, yeah.
and he's sitting in a flat. My brother went down to a place where he
Mm,
lives, and they've got a child. God rest her soul. God, my niece saved my life because I was put on suicide watch. He was calling and calling him. He spent an hour and a half with him. My, I'm going to call him this scumbag with my brother and my sister-in-law.
mm.
My brother and sister-in-law had to pay for lunch. We didn't even buy my niece a present. I don't give a shit if it's a pound shop toy.
Matter. It's not what it costs. It's what it means to somebody, isn't
And
it?
also, he left this place where they live, where they were visiting. He called and called, and he didn't even bother picking up.
No.
And I
And it
feel
makes you
like,
think, well, people, it's easy enough for us to say, well, they're not, people like that aren't worth, and they're not worth the time and effort. But
well,
unfortunately, young children don't know that, and they just think
well,
of it as being, they want
well,
grandparents, don't they? They want aunties and uncles, they want people that are around them, and children are so innocent in it all.
also, it's like I want to get this message across is when organisations are talking to the victim about the per, perpetrator,
Yeah.
don't speak about the perpetrator around the child
Mm.
because they can pick it up.
Yeah,
Because
100%.
years down the line, this happened to me. Something will go off in their head, light switch will go, nah, I'm not putting up with it.
Yeah.
Let the child make up their own decision.
Yes, and they will. They get to a point where they do make you right. They do. They make their own decisions. They see things for what they are, and
Mm.
it may take time. But you're right. It has to be very sensitive. The conversations, especially when children are involved, because the awful thing I think very often is children love both parents. They love both parents. And I've seen children who have experienced abuse say, I don't like such and such a parent, but I still love them because they're my parent. And that, for a child and trying to get society to understand that is how difficult is that. All anybody ever wants to do is love both the parents and have the parents take care of them and be there for them. That's all anybody asks. It really should be the most simplest human thing on the planet. But actually, when it comes to perpetrators and abusers, they don't know how to care. They don't know how to love.
I don't give a shit. They
They
think
don't
about
care.
themselves.
They
I
don't
want
care.
it's like I'm going to call him scumbag because that's where he is now.
Yeah.
Sorry, birth father, because we're in a professional setting. He sent a letter to my place of work. I thought I was going to hold his hands up, blah blah blah. My stepbrother was playing football at a big game, and he wanted to portray a perfect image. So I had
Mm.
to explain to my boss. Then I went paid that £150 letter from my solicitor. The letter was that bad I could have done it myself. It was just frustrating. But
Yeah. Yeah.
way it is.
Yeah. That's the thing. It's so all of it is frustrating. All of it is beyond unfair. And so if there's one thing I do ask sort of as I'm getting towards the end of the episode, one thing I always ask is if you, apart from I know we were saying before about the takeaway of speaking out and knowing that people are there, on a day-to-day basis, is there something you do that kind of, because I'll get a lot of people say, I'm trying my best, I'm doing my best, but actually some days I'm okay, other days um I'm just rock bottom and I don't know what else to do. Usually, what I try and say is just you have to take it one day at a time. But is there something you do each day that sort of kind of
Like
keeps you?
I was doing mentioned 3.5 years ago, I was getting assessed by the mental health
Yeah,
thing, and I think don't let things build up because that's what happened to me. I build up. I had like 6 deaths within 3 years, and blah blah. And I just went. I pressed the fuck it button. I think just speak to a. It's just my speak to a stranger, not a stranger. I can't call it that. A
yeah,
professional person.
yeah,
That's a stranger.
yeah. Someone you feel
And
comfortable, and even if it's
mm,
if it's a friend. I did an
mm,
episode a while ago with a friend and she's a psychotherapist and she was saying again it comes back to listening. If she was worried about somebody, it's just sort of asking that question, isn't it, saying I just sense that things are a bit off and I just sense that
mm.
you seem a bit distant, is everything okay? And if somebody says yeah, I'm fine, just keep checking in, just keep, it may not be that that day is the right day to have that conversation, but maybe the next day or the day after or the day after that might be the time that they say, actually, I'm not okay and I really need to talk to you.
Or
Yeah,
go. Let's go for a cup of tea, or
yeah,
let's go somewhere.
yeah, absolutely. And honestly, I'm very grateful. Is there anything else you want to cover before we kind of wrap up?
This actually, I've written some down for someone else. This is from a legal perspective. This was quoted in December 2022. I think this sums up children's guidance perfect. The CPS domestic abuse lead said, growing up in a violent and toxic home has a hugely damaging and lasting impact on children. Today's guidance, which recognises them as victims, not only offers them automatic support, but means the effect on them is considered as part of the justice process. There's no doubt that having a clear understanding of the family dynamic on how the young victim may respond to the criminal justice process will help bring more abusers to court.
Absolutely. And where was that from? Sorry, Luke.
And CPS,
Yeah.
that's official thing. And one of my dreams one day is when I'm speaking at a conference is, you have is it a think oh, is it a victim impact statement?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
I want to say it to professionals. to say how the impact of that's one of my. I've got loads of ideas.
I bet you have the biggest book ever with just
Yeah,
ideas in it, and
it's like that.
that's what I mean. Yeah, and that's
It's like
brilliant.
this thing the other day. It might be worth people watching. Is called the Assembly.
Mm.
Danny Dye done one Saturday. There's neurodiverse people asking random questions, and that's one of my ambitions. But have a police officer or yeah
Yeah,
podcast.
yeah.
That's on the back line.
Listen, if there's anything I can do to help with that, I will.
It's I had when I was going to do it with a charity. Is I had someone that was I can't say this person because he's currently unavailable.
Yeah.
He was a very well known criminal justice. If
Mm.
this happens in the future, people will be shocked who it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's appeared on TV, so ain't no mug from McDonald's.
Right, that'll be interesting. Well, I seriously cannot thank you enough for in the very busy
No
schedule
worries.
you have at the moment of having a
That's
sit
all right.
down and a chat with me. But
That's all right.
you're doing amazing things, and you're doing it with a smile on your face as well, which in these kind of conversations is never easy or straightforward. But you
It's
are
like you're having a cup of tea with your mate.
exactly, well, that's exactly it, and that's exactly how I want this to feel for people. So I really hope
That's
that, yeah,
that's when I get speaking at conferences is basically I want to like I'm having a cup of tea with a mate on stage
yeah,
because I
yeah,
find when you go to conferences I get bored.
yeah.
You know when people speak like 40 minutes, I'm like sit down and shut. Sorry,
Yeah,
sit
you
down
want
and
you want
shut
someone
up.
to just get on with it and get off. Yeah,
Sit.
yeah,
One of my things is when I get up to that level is it audience Piers Morgan type thing?
yeah,
Audience with because people are more likely to react, but
yeah. Listen,
early
I
days.
I believe in you. I think you've got the potential to do whatever you want, and you've got so much to give, and I
Pride
think
of
it's amazing.
Pride of Britain. Oh, we will be on the Pride of Britain Monday.
See, that's it. You need one of those vision boards, don't you, where
No,
people say manifest it all and it will come
it will
true.
happen. It will happen. Trust me. When I was getting my teeth into something, I'm like a dog with a bone.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what people need. And honestly, I can't thank you enough, Luke.
No
Thank you
worries.
so much. And I will hopefully see you very soon.
See you later.
Where